The way you tell your story can add or detract a lot of mystery from the final product. Make a line of dialogue inaudible, and suddenly it's the most important line in the scene, maybe even in the film. It instantly creates a mini mystery for the audience. And if you play off of that, you have an easy recipe for an intriguing case. Cut the story up too much, and you might not get all the pieces back together in a way that makes sense, or you could lose the overall message and tone. Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I review new movies and television shows and try to release a new review every day from Monday to Friday. Today, I'm going over The Friendship Game. It's directed by Scooter Corkle and written by Damien Ober. It stars Peyton List, Miriam Smith, and Brendan Meyer. It's a psychological horror that incorporates sci-fi elements. It has a high production value, solid acting, and a good amount of mystery, but delivers its story in a confusing and slow manner. I was left with more questions than answers and felt underwhelmed due to the lack of horror. It just isn't a scary film. It's creepy, sure, but there's never a sense of danger. Cotton Allen, an 18-year-old about to head off to university in the fall, buys a game from a garage sale. The woman tells her it is a friendship game that will test the strength of her friendships. She tells Cotton how to play it and warns that if her friendships fail, she will die. She and her friends sit down and tell the strange device their innermost desires, and then strange events start to transpire. Can Cotton and her friends survive the test? The overall plot and premise are fairly interesting and might have made for an excellent movie. However, the way it's currently told is confusing and hard to follow. The story is cut up into parts and the film retreads the same events 4 times in a row from different perspectives. It gives the audience information in small trickles, which is good for building mystery, but also made putting it back together nearly impossible. The information is presented to you in 1,000 tattered pieces. The film is too clever for its own good, and the average audience just won't understand it all without an explanation. It's also kind of slow. It doesn't have anything horrific to show in the first hour, aside from a few spooky flashes. They happen so fast that I barely registered the blood and gore. The glitches and how they took over people's bodies were actually pretty creepy, but they never hurt or threatened anyone. The finale was cool, and actually incorporated a lot of horror elements, but it's over quickly and doesn't quite justify the long and uneventful journey before it. The film's story might not be great, but its production value is. The camera work is smooth, the visuals are interesting, the soundtrack is well used and effective, and the cast does a solid job. The cast is well at filling out their characters and making the emotions feel natural. There are a lot of good fear reactions in here that make things seem far more frightening than they are. Peyton List and Dylan Shoming stand out from the others. Dylan Shoming plays Kyle Jr., the unexplainable young man. He is quiet and mysterious and his facial reactions are amazing. He sells the glitch on the computer screen so hard that even I jumped a little, and jump scares never get me. He's also got this 1,000-yard stare that makes him seem like a living corpse. Peyton List gets the lion's share of the screen time and easily carries it. She embodies the character and does a great job of getting across the hurt and pain that Susan is going through, both in her real life and within the device. Visually, the film has a lot of things going for it. The glitches are well designed and incredibly creepy, the camera work is smooth, and there are a lot of appealing shots in the film. The camera work creatively infuses a lot of motion while still framing its characters beautifully. The glitches first appear on the recordings that Kyle Jr. watches, but quickly transfer into the world around them. The way they took over people was a little horrifying, but they underused it and didn't expand on it enough. The soundtrack is made up of well-chosen boilerplate tension tracks. They're effective at heightening the emotions in the scenes, but a few times during the movie they played just a little too loudly. It almost covers the dialogue completely, but it only blocks out 2 or 3 lines in total. The sound engineering is quite impressive. The noises used for the glitches are freaky, yet quite subtle. I like that they didn't feel the need to over-rely on loud volumes for the jump scares. Friendship Game is a well-produced film with a lot of love and care behind it, but it just doesn't hit the mark with its story. It likely needed a few more passes with an editor for clarity. If I had come out of that film understanding exactly what the device was trying to do, and how and why the events played out in the way that they did, then I would have enjoyed it a lot more. As it stands, I'm really confused of what the story was trying to say. 6 out of 10.